Hi everyone, I am Lahari from Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham and today I will be presenting on Mastering the Spinner, one of the most commonly used UI component in Android development. Spinners are drop-down menus allow users to choose one item from a list of options similar to drop-down websites. In this presentation, we'll understand what spinners are, their types, key components, how to implement them in Android Studio, and some real-world applications and troubleshooting tips. Hmm. And this presentation will explore what a spinner is and what it is used and how to implement it and efficiently in Android Studio. By the end of this session, we will clearly understand how to design, connect, and use spinners to make your Android apps more interactive and user-friendly. And next, here is the outline of what we will be covering in this presentation. In the introduction, what are the spinner types and core components, how to implement, and key concepts, how the spinner works internally, and best practices, common issues and solutions. Practical applications. Practical applications in real world examples of where spinners are used. And the finally conclusion. And the next coming to introduction to Android Spinner. A spinner in Android is a type of drop-down list that allows user to choose one item from several available options. It is very similar to drop-down menus we often see on websites. The spinner is space efficient because it shows only the selected options until the user taps on it, revealing the rest of the list. It's commonly used for fields like choosing a country, a time zone, or a category in a form. Spinners are also built to support Android's accessibility features, ensuring that all users can interact with them easily. And from a technical perspective, a spinner belongs to a class called adapter, which means it relies on an adapter to display data. In short, a spinner connects a list of items to make simple, compact view where users can make a quick selections. And the next coming to spinner types and visual presentation. And the Android provides two main ways to display spinners based on how the list of options appears on the screen. And the first coming to drop down mode. When you tap the spinner, the list of options drop down below it. This is the most commonly used type and works best for shortlists. For example, selecting a gender, color, or contact and the change. And the next coming to second one, dialog mode. In this case, when the spinner is tapped, when the spinner is tapped, a dialog box appears in the center of the screen showing all the options. And the next, this is more suitable for longer lists like choosing a country, city, region, and as shown in this figure. And next, all of both serve the same purpose. Choosing the right display mode can make your app more user friendly and visually clean. And the next coming to core concepts of spinner. There are three core concepts of a spinner. They are layout XML, data source, and adapter. And now coming to layout XML. This is where the spinner is defined in the layout file of the app. It decides where the spinner will appear on the screen and assigns it an ID for reference in the code. And the next coming to data source. And in the data source, this is actual list of items that will appear inside the spinner. It can be defined in the resource file using a string array or created dynamically in the code. And the next coming to adapter Java Kotlin. Adapter. This is the code is based on Java or Kotlin language. And the next adapter acts as a bridge between the data source and the spinner's user interface. It takes each item from the list and displays it in the spinner view. In simple terms, you can think of it as a chain first layout and the next adapter and the next is data source. Each part plays an important role in ensuring the spinner displays the correct data. And the next coming to implementation. And implementation, it gives the step-by-step code walkthrough. And the first now let's understand how we can implement a spinner step-by-step in Android Studio conceptually without getting into the code. And the first step is to add spinner wedge in the layout file. This defines its position and look in the user interface. Next coming to we create the data source and which includes the list of options and I can select from like a list of languages or categories. And the third step is to initialize the adapter. Then we set up the adapter which connects the data source of the spinner. In the next coming to attach the fourth step. In this step, adapter is ready. We link to the spinner so that two are connected. After linking the spinner, will automatically display the items provided in the list. And the last coming to final handle selection. Once the adapter is ready, we handle user interaction by using a listener that detects which item the user has chosen. And when a user selects an item, we can display a short message, update another part of the app, or performs a specific task. So overall, these steps are designed to prepare data and the next connect adapter and to link the spinner and to handle the selection. These are the steps to complete the spinner setup. And the next coming to key concepts. In this now we have seen the steps like talk about what happened behind the scenes when the spinner runs. And this the adapter plays the main role here. It connects the data sources such as list of strings with the spinner visual elements. Instead of manually adding items one by one, the adapter automatically populates the spinner with all the available options. And the next important concept is the on item select listener. This is a listener that responds to user actions. It tells the app which item has selected and allows the developer to define what should happen text. For example, showing a message or charging another setting. And the next, so the adapter handles the data flow and the listener handles the user's interaction. Together, they make Spinner both dynamic and responsive. And the next, and this slide is the visual output and user demonstration. In by observing this, we can understand that this image refers to drop down spinner and this image refers to uh, dialog spinner. And the next coming to common errors and troubleshooting fixes. In this, even though spinners are easy to use, there are a few common mistakes and developers often make. Here are some best practices to avoid them. If your spinner appears empty, check if adapter is properly connected and that your data source contains valid items. And next, always use Android layouts for spinner items to ensure proper formatting. And the last error is if your app doesn't respond when you select an item, make sure you have correctly attached the on item selected listener to your spinner. It's also good idea to test your spinner on different screen sizes and Android versions to make sure dropdown behaves cons- consistently everywhere. And the next, by following these simple practices, you can prevent most common spinner related errors. And some of the real practical applications of the Android spinner. Spinners are very commonly used in Android apps across the different contexts. Let us see a few examples. In registration forms, they are used for selecting options like gender, country, or state. And in e-commerce, Spinner helps filter or sort producers by pricing, category, and rating. And in location tabs that allow users to pick cities, regions, or areas of interest. And in coming to schedule like time and date, spinners make it easy to choose time slots or repeat intervals for reminders. So basically, any situation where a user needs to choose one value from a set of predefined options, that's where a spinner is perfect UI element. And finally, the conclusion is to wrap up the Android spinner is a simple yet powerful tool that enhances user experience by allow easy and quick selections. We covered its types, components, and step-by-step implementation and key concepts and practical applications. And by understanding how adapters and listener work together, you can create a dynamic and user-friendly selection interfaces in your apps. And now coming to Android Studio, in this we can see that how to run the XML code and the main.activity Kotlin file in Android Studio about the spinner. And the coming to first linear layout, it is that in this linear layout, we use linear layout tag for that arranges elements vertically from top to bottom. And the next coming to text view, why we use this text view is that it bolds and slides it larger so that it stands out as the main heading. For main heading, we use the text view. And the next coming to spinner. And the spinner tag is used for drop down spinner. There is a label that says drop down spinner so that user knows that spinner is for the spinner itself. When clicked shows a list of options that drop down below it. And next spinner is for dialog spinner. And for the dialog spinner, the spinner opens a pop-up dialog in the center of the screen instead of a drop-down. And this mode is especially useful for long lists because it's easier to scroll the options in a dialog. And and this is about the activity main XML. And next coming to main activity dot Kotlin file. In this first we will import the all necessary libraries, and the next coming to class main activity. In this, which is the main screen of your app, it extends compact activity which provides all basic features on Android screen. The onCreate method where the app initializes everything when it starts. And these are the drop down list values. And the next for the override function. And the next in the override function, the app user and array adapter, which bridges the data with the spinner views. And the simple spinner item defines the look of the spinner when closed. And the simple spinner drop-down items when how the drop-down items look when opened. And the sample adapter attached to both spinners so the show same list. And the next we'll run and see the output. See, now here this is the drop down spinner and the next dialog spinner. Well, we selecting the drop down spinner, we'll get a pop-up like drop down lists. And the next we can select from this Kotlin, Python, or etc. And the next coming to dialog spinner, on selecting this, we can get pop down in the middle of the screen. And that is the difference between the drop down and dialog spinner. And the thank you for listening.